Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video of Ark Survival Evolved, where we're going to be kind of delving into a topic of what is better for an early game tame. As I mentioned in my first video of the Ark Completionist series, I want to show you guys what's better between a Parasaur and a Trike. So for that, I have two test subjects that are willing to help me out with my crazy experiments that you can probably see something in behind to the right of the video. That is a bridge. We've devised a couple of experiments to kind of determine and show you guys which one exactly is better between the two of the test subjects that we've got there. Essentially, we're going to do something of a harvesting test, a speed/stamina test, and then we're basically going to be going over the stats of the dinos to kind of show you what the differences are in terms of the actual raw stats as a level 1 dinosaur. So let's get into it, guys, and I'll show you in a second. Okay, so here we go. These are the two test subjects. If I take a step closer, you'll probably be able to see what I'm talking about. Test subject number 2 and test subject number 1. Obviously, I tamed the Parasaur first, so that's why he's number 1, and then we have this guy as number 2. So there we go, and there we go. These guys are going to be helping us out to determine which one is the ultimate early game tame. So between these two guys, they basically do the same thing. They have a decent amount of weight when it comes to an early game dinosaur that you can tame. They both can harvest berries. They can harvest wood and thatch. They kind of, to some degree, help you kill things and sprint across the land. So they've got basically the same sort of general use and application. Now let's get into their actual stats. We're going to start off with Mr. Parasaur over here. So let's go ahead and look onto his inventory. And as you can probably see, we have health as a 200, which is pretty low, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to be using him to fight for the most part. So the fact that he has a low amount of HP shouldn't really matter too much. Then we have his stamina stat, which is very, very good. Especially because this number does not deplete very quickly. So it's really, really good. So yeah, there's not much I can say. That stamina stat is amazing. Oxygen and food is basically a useless stat. I don't really care too much about them. Obviously, if you want to go into the water, it's not really the dino that you're going to go underwater with because it's not really amphibious, but it doesn't really matter too much. So the weight stat is actually not bad. 480, nearly 500 without any point investment at level 1 is a very good amount of weight. They got really, really buffed when it came to the TLC patch, and they have a very, very good amount of weight. Melee, don't really care. Movement speed, he is actually very decent at a 167, which is not bad. And this is kind of the thing that I was talking about when I mentioned it in my first episode of the Completionist series. They have a low amount of torpor. It's very easy to deal 150 torpor and knock this guy out. Granted, it's a level 1, but if you're going to be knocking out, like, let's say a level 4, level 8, level 12, it's still going to be easy enough to knock them out. You shouldn't have any problems. And that basically concludes the stat rundown of the Parasaur. Now we're going to move on to this guy over here, which is the Trike. They happen to be a male and a female. Doesn't really matter, I think. They shouldn't affect the stats. Let's get into this guy's stats though. So we have a respectable 375 health, which is not bad, but it's not the highest health stat when it comes to creatures in the game. But for an early game dino, you're definitely going to do fine when it comes to this amount of HP, so don't really worry about it, guys. It's fine. Now, stamina is bad. I don't care what you say. Trikes have always had this problem pre-TLC patch and after the TLC patch. They simply run out of stamina way too fast for it to really be an effective dino for walking around. Granted, I know it has other uses, but what I'm saying is, for the purposes of mobility, it's very, very bad. And you'll see in a minute when we go over to actually testing how these guys perform, you'll see why this becomes a bit of a problem. Like I said, the oxygen stat and the food stat are basically irrelevant. It doesn't really matter at all. They have the same oxygen stat, funny enough, but like I said, these aren't the type of dinos that you're going to be taking into the water environment. So I don't think it matters at all. Granted, when it comes to the melee and the movement speed, funnily enough, it has more movement speed as a percentage base than what the Parasaur has, but you wouldn't guess that this is the case, that this number would be higher than what the Parasaur has, because it's such a sluggish and slow dinosaur that I don't really like the fact that it's such an immobile mount. But like I said, it does have more torpidity, so it's going to take a lot more effort on your part to knock this guy down than it would be to knock out Parasaur. Granted, at this level, at level 1, the difference from 150 to 250 isn't too much. It only equates to about a couple of more hits when it comes to a slingshot. But if you're talking about 150 tame, it's going to take significantly more effort to knock out a Trike than it does to knock out a Parasaur, which is, combined with the stamina, one of my main points is saying that probably you should think about taming the Parasaur and worry about the Trike later when you have more resources and you're more able to really make use of what this guy can do at a higher level. But when it comes to a base, low level tame, it can be a problem. Now, with that said, we have now finished looking at the stats of both of these. So I think we can transition to me showing you guys the next test, which I've devised cleverly enough in the same place, which is 1 and 1. So each one is going to harvest an individual harvesting node, not multiples, just one. And then we'll see what kind of results we get. This one might clip into these actually, now that I'm seeing it, because the Triceratops definitely has more range when it comes to harvesting than what the Parasaur has. So what I'll probably do is quickly change positions for these guys and make them harvest the opposite initial things, because I don't want them to affect the results. So we'll kind of do it like this, I guess. So hopefully this should be good enough. And whack. There we go. I think we just got the one. We didn't even hit the trees. That seems to be a good result. Okay, so let's get the Parasaur, jump onto him real quick, and harvest this one over here. I think this should be just one, right? Yeah, it looks like one. Okay, so boom, harvest, and there we go. Now let's have a look at the results. And this guy did so 4, yeah, decent, but not amazing. And let's look at this guy, what he got. And as you can see, he definitely got slightly more, but it's not a whole ton more. It's generally, like, I would say 2 more, and then, you know, if we add these ones up, it's a couple of more on this one, you know, a couple of more of these. So it does harvest more per bush that it knocks out, but you wouldn't really be able to say that it's significant enough to say that, you know, the downsides are going to be made up by how much this one can harvest as opposed to the Parasaur. It's not really that big of a difference, but, you know, you might think that it is. I don't know, guys. You might think that it is. Now, let's get into the second test. I'm going to make a swift, quick cut while I walk these guys over to that platform right there. So give me guys just 1 second and we'll be right back. Okay guys, and welcome back to the second part of the test. Like I said, we're going to be walking these guys on a bridge, on a ramp that we made, and we're going to sprint and see how far they can get on this obstacle course. Essentially, we're going to be seeing how fast they are and how far they can get. And I'm going to basically give you guys a bit of a spoiler warning. The Parasaur is going to perform amazingly well in this test, as opposed to the Triceratops, which is going to be a bit underwhelming. But let's get into it. So let's take these two guys. As you can see, I sort of just walk them around and then kind of like put them here so we can easily just walk them up on the ramp and take them out. It seems that my explant is actually growing pretty nicely. I can bust these down once it's done growing. Anyway, though, let's get the Parasaur. It's still a level 1, as you can see. So 167% move speed and 450 stamina. Let's walk him up. We're going to be doing the same thing. Basically, the Parasaur moves with its hind legs. So we're going to walk it a bit more far forward than we would walk the the Trike, simply because this guy moves from that spot, so that's where he's going to be sitting on the line. And we're basically going to sprint all the way to the end and see how fast we can get there, and also how much stamina this guy is going to use. So 3, 2, 1, go. It's, as you can see, the stamina is really not going down at all. This is why I say that the Parasaur is so much better than the Trike. Just look at this. We're still going. We actually made it to the end of the ramp, and we still have plenty of stamina left. And what I'm actually going to do to make this point even more is look how I can turn on the spot, walk my way back up, and then we're going to make our return trip all the way back to the beginning, where this section, where we started off the race, and we're still going to have essentially what is a half stamina bar. This is by far the best early game mount for exploration, if we're not going to be counting the Iguanodon that's up there. That it's, you know, it's much better because it has infinite stamina, but the fact that it's infinite is a bit of a cheat, so we're not going to count it. I'm just counting early game dinos that you can actually use that have stamina. This is by far the best one. I mean, look at this. That was impressive. So it essentially came back with about what I would say was essentially like between 200 and 250 on the stam. So that is amazing. The fact that it can go all the way there, turn around on a dime, and then come back and still have stamina left is impressive. Now let's see how fairly does the Trike perform when it comes to comparisons with the Parasaur. We're gonna slowly walk him up here. I don't want to use any stamina before we get there. Inch him closer to the starting line. As you can see, he's a bit, actually let's move him back to be completely fair, so he's actually on the line. There we go. And we're going to be doing it this way. I think honestly the best option you have when it comes to mobility on the Trike is to use the right click attack to charge at an enemy. This is going to do damage, it's going to break trees, but it is also going to make the best use out of the stamina bar. I'll show you guys on the way back what it actually means to just walk and sprint with this guy, but let's actually do it this way so we give him the best chance to perform. We're gonna hold down the right click until it gets all the way up and then go launch. As you can see, it's actually faster because it's charging, but as you can see, and boom, stamina has depleted and he has stopped. He hasn't made it all the way. He's actually made it a significantly further distance than he would have if he was to walk back, and I'll show you guys this as well. Granted, he is actually not bad at turning for a dinosaur his size, but he definitely cannot turn as easily as the Parasaur would, for example, mid-charge. Anyway though, let's sprint back, and you'll see he is definitely much slower when it comes to sprinting. And as you can see, that stamina is really depleting very, very fast. And as you can see, we have now come to a stop. We didn't even make it. I would say we just barely passed halfway of the distance that we crossed. It's actually really kind of fortunate that he happened to poop where he stopped. So as you can see, that is not an impressive amount of stamina. And that is the main reason why I dislike using these things, because I'm a guy that really, really values flow when it comes to the gameplay, and this guy just does not have the best performance when it comes to that. Granted, like I said, because of the TLC, he is much better at turning around. He has a buff when it comes to carnivores. He gets a sort of like a rival bonus with the carnivores, so he gets better defenses, better offenses. He takes reduced damage when you hit him in the head as opposed to the body. He has his benefits when it comes to things outside of exploring and things like that, but I would say if you want the first tame in the game, this is specifically talking about these dinos as the first thing that you tame in the game, I would have my money hands down on this beautiful, beautiful Parasaur, because he is a much easier dino to explore the island or any other map that he's on as opposed to the Trike. So I would say if you can choose between these two as your first dino that you will tame in the game, you would be crazy not to pick the Parasaur. But then again, guys, I am one man and this is my opinion. Hopefully, like I said, you did enjoy the video, and if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, then do leave a like on the video, leave feedback in the comment section down below. What other creatures you would want to see? What creatures do you like that people find underrated? I have some more video ideas on this topic. I will be doing something along the lines of the Carno and the benefits of that. But that is another video. I'll leave that for another day. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.